As Janet mentioned, when I came into the Treasurer's office, we were ranked 43rd in the country. Think about that for a second. We were in the basement. Our financial ranking was 43rd in the country. Through instituting some reforms, fiscal responsibility, bringing in the best and brightest onto our staff, working with people throughout state government, we put together a team in my office, but also obviously the governor has, people in the legislature have, John's done a great job, to take our state from ranked 43rd in the country to 7th in the country. It's the single largest improvement of any state's financial ranking in the nation. On top of that, we've increased the bond rating for the Ohio Enterprise Bond Fund for the first time in about a decade. We've maintained a AAA credit rating on behalf of a lot of the local governments we invest for. So here in Portage County, throughout the state of Ohio, there's a lot of cities, counties, schools, villages, townships that will send part of their tax dollars to our office. We'll invest it, make a nice yield, and then send it back to them. So if we do a good job, there's a little more money there to buy another computer for the classroom, maybe hire another cop to walk the beat, maybe offer another service for senior services, and so on and so forth. The most significant illustration, though, about leading by example is something we did a few months ago, where we took the state's checkbook. Every single penny the state spends, everything from $2 for a pack of pencils to millions of dollars for expensive road expenditures, and we put it on the internet. And I work in this building called the Rhodes Tower. It's a state office tower. It's like the bowels of the bureaucracy. A lot of good people, nice people in there, but I can tell you, that day I got a lot of nasty looks. And when I walk through the State House, I get a lot of nasty looks. And a lot of these looks come from your bosses. I'm just kidding. You're his boss. You're my boss. You're their boss. But a lot of times these people think that they're your boss. The way I see my job is the 11.5 million people in the state of Ohio, you're my boss. All these state workers in the Rhodes Tower, you're their boss. All these people working in the state house, John and everything, you're their boss. Unfortunately, throughout government, you have a lot of people who think after you pay taxes, the tax money belongs to them and somehow they're your boss. It's not like that. The money, I believe, always belongs to you. And we in government, we're only the stewards. And so I thought by taking all this money, all these expenditures people are spending in the EPA, in the Department of Insurance, in the Department of Transportation, the Department of Education, my office, the Governor's office, Secretary of State's office, State Auditor's office, Attorney General's office, every office throughout state government, from the barber board to the medical board to the dental board, everything, put it all up on the web. Because I believe you have the right to see how the money's being spent. Accountable. And I believe we're already changing behavior. We're already making bureaucrats who maybe used to take go to the conference in Disney World, maybe now they're going to go to the conference in Cincinnati. Folks who used to stay at the Ritz-Carlton, maybe now they're going to stay at the Holiday Inn, because after all, this is your tax money. I also believe that it's important to proliferate this throughout the state. And so when I said I led by example, we put the state's checkbook online because it was important for me to lead and do that first. But we're just getting started. Next month, I'm going to be sending a letter to every single local government in the state of Ohio. Every city councilman, every school board member, every mayor, every county commissioner in the state of Ohio is going to receive a letter. And it's going to say, I'd like to partner with you. I'd like to help you put your checkbooks online as well. Because after all, the citizens, the constituents in your district, they have a right to know how the money's being spent. Most of these folks, I think, are going to ignore the letter. So after they ignore the letter, we're going to pick up the phone. And we're going to say, hey, we sent you this letter. What do you think about partnering with us? What do you think about putting Portage County's finances online? What do you think about putting Aurora's finances online? What do you think about putting Ravenna's finances online? And I think more and more are going to respond. But if they still ignore us, we're then going to look up who's on the city council, who's on the school board, who's the county commissioners, who are the township trustees. We're going to call some folks that we think are friendly to the cause of transparency. We're going to say, hey, what do you think about introducing a resolution or introducing an ordinance in your school board, in your city council, compelling your local government to put this information online? And if they still don't hear us, we might call the Record-Courier, we might call the Plain Dealer, we might call the Youngstown Vindicator and say, hey, here's a list of all the local governments in your area who've done the right thing, who've led by example, and have put these finances online. And by the way, here's a list of the ones They might have something to hide. And if it still doesn't work, I'm going to personally show up at city council meetings and school board meetings and county commissioner meetings throughout the state, and I'm going to look them in the eye and say, what do you have to hide? This is the people's money.